All right, and I enabled the waiting room. All right. Hey, good people, how y'all doing? Appreciate y'all joining us and being on time. Sorry, I'm a little bit tardy to the party. Hey, Alex. Hey, Aubrey. I appreciate y'all joining us. Hey, let me know down in the comments if this is your first time being at one of these Zoom sessions with us. Give me a one in the comments if it's your first time. Give me a two in the comments. If you've been here before, I'm really just kind of curious. We had some sort of error with our um, we had some sort of error with our system, so we're trying to figure that out right now. All right, brother Alex, I appreciate that. Hey,
two pictures, and I want to see if you can tell me the
oh,
difference.
I'm like, what is
Here's the
that?
first picture.
That's me messing around. All right, yeah, no, I appreciate you being here. Hey, Pamela, all right, I see my people starting to trickle in. All right, so the things must be getting down to business and getting sorted out. So Sister Ashley is our travel coordinator who is on the call, working the ones and twos in the background. So thank you, Ashley. And let me know when you got that updated so I can go ahead and refresh and then I'll kick off my presentation. I just wanted to have a conversation today, centered around why we like to travel, right? Why this is important. Hey, and let me know down in the comments, where are you interested in going, right? Where are you interested in traveling? The African continent, the African diaspora. I'm assuming everybody is here for similar reasons and all of that. But let me know what is your interest. And then bonus points for someone who wants to let me know why, right? Why do you like to travel? Why is this important to you? I would imagine that it's important because y'all are here with me on this Wednesday evening. It's been like one of those weeks I had to literally think about what day it is and all of that. So let me know down in the comments, brother Alex. I know you're the only one communicating with me, good brother. So have you been to the continent or not? Africa yet?
Not yet.
Not yet, not yet. All right, come on back and unmute just real quick. What makes you want to go?
A lot of reasons. I've been told to go back years ago, and I'm actually part of the GBA, the Government Blockchain Association. I have my own control group, and we've been putting together smart cities around the world in Argentina, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. And we want to go out to Africa and bring some of our computer literature and literacy out there.
I love it. I love it. So you figure, hey, let me go visit first, get a lay of the land, meet some folks, learn some things. I totally understand
Yeah,
that.
of course. You definitely want to put your feet in the water first before you go swim.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? As a business owner, I get into like all of that in a second. But as a business owner, I can definitely relate, and I definitely want to be on the continent doing business, right? I was just talking to Dr. Aiden on our upcoming Black History Summit for Juneteenth next week, and we were talking. He was talking about the explosive growth in Africa, right, and what's going to happen over the next 50 years or so, and it exploding beyond, way beyond like 1.5, 2 billion people on the continent, and they are industrializing, right? So they're moving into the industrial revolution all across the continent and it's just opening up crazy opportunities for people who have the foresight to go get involved. So rather than just talk about it, I wanted to go visit. I want to set some roots down. I want to buy some property. I want to start investing, if not necessarily for myself to grow with the economy, but for my children and my grandchildren. I don't have grandchildren just yet. Hopefully one day, right? Not one day soon. I mean, be clear about that. um, but yeah, I definitely want to be involved in the place that got the majority of the world's resources and that's exploding with rapid growth and highly intelligent individuals. It's just a beautiful thing what's happening over there. Let me bring up my presentation so that we can get down into this. But yeah, let me know where y'all are watching from. I'm in the south suburbs of Chicago, Illinois today. Why can't I? Oh, presenter view. There we go. All right, all right. I'm getting it together, man. All right, here we go. Ooh, what's going on? All right, Georgia. I see Georgia in the building. Georgia. All right, I ain't gonna sing to y'all. Y'all don't need that. Y'all need goodness in your life. Here we go. All right, I saw Georgia is here. Hey, Pamela, appreciate you joining us today. Pamela, have you been here before? Give me a yes or no in the comments. Cleveland, thank you, Alex. Appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna bring this up. We're gonna dive into this discussion. Have a good one and have some fun here today. So I'll leave some room for Q&A at the end, of course. And we'll have that discussion anytime that we have that discussion at the end. But if you have any questions for me, you can definitely let me know. It's pretty relaxed atmosphere, and we're just gonna get into it. I'm gonna share this mission with y'all, right? And I'm gonna try to do my best to make it semi-entertaining, right? All right, here we go. All right, so y'all can see my screen, right? Give me a yes in the comments. You should be able to see my screen. Sometimes I'm always showing the wrong thing, thinking I'm showing the right one. All right, looks like I am good. Yes, got that. Thank you, Ashley. All right, so at 86 years old, this young black man from Detroit, Detroit, as they say, thought he had seen it all, but he was in for a big surprise. Let's dive into this. But this is what we're talking about here today. We are going to discuss the why of traveling, right? Have you thought about your why? Why this is important to you? Brother Alex shared with me a bit on why this was important to them, but this is something that I really want you to think about. Why is this all important to you? This is part of our Travel Talks experience, right? So Sankofa Experiences Travel Talk, Urban Intellectuals is the company. I'll dig into a little bit of that, but let me hit you with our intro video. Welcome to Travel Talks, where we embark on a journey of discovery with Sankofa Experiences, powered by Urban Intellectuals. I'm your host, Freddie Taylor, the CEO and founder of Urban Intellectuals, here to guide you through our African diaspora's rich history and culture. Sankofa Experiences is more than just travel, it's a movement. We dive deep into our roots across Africa and the diaspora, turning every journey into a powerful connection with our ancestors. Our mission? To make the exploration of Black history accessible, inspiring, and informative. Join us as we share insights from our travels, celebrate our history, and foster a deeper understanding of our collective identity. With Sankofa Experiences, every destination is a step closer to home. Let's explore together. Welcome to Travel Talks. Welcome to Travel Talk. Yes, let's have this discussion here today. Welcome to Travel Talks. Y'all joining us. Today we're talking about why travel, right? Why is this important? Again, I'm trying to get y'all to, chime in with me and let me know why this travel is interests you, why it is important. If I can get somebody to comment down in there, just let me know why you want to go to the continent, why this connection is important to you. But more, allow me to play our video that gives you a good overview of the company rather than me just talking about it. Check out a quick interview that I did on the news this year.
First, tell us about Urban Intellectuals. What is this?
Our Urban Intellectuals makes it fun and easy to learn Black history. That is our mission. That is our core responsibility. And we created a suite of Black history products and services designed to rewrite the narrative about Black and African people in the world.
Obviously very important. How'd you come up with the idea for Urban Intellectuals?
Oh, I love to say that it started almost 100 years ago because my father's 95 years old. And he's still alive, born in 1929, but he instilled in me the importance of understanding our history and our culture and the pride and respect that it instills inside of us. And while my children were matriculating through the school district, I couldn't believe that the limited discussion about the contributions to humanity that Black people have made were minuscule at best. And I kept thinking somebody should do something, somebody should do something. In 2016, I became somebody.
You were the somebody that did something, right? And typically, probably the conversations were in February.
Yes, typically centered around February, centered around the same 8 to 12 people every single year, which no disrespect to them and their contributions, which is amazing, but there's so much more glorious.
A lot more. Okay, so you've got a very cool product.
Thank you.
That kind of makes it fun, right? Makes it fun. Tell me about your flashcards.
Our Black History flashcards feature 52 cards in each deck. There's actually 6 in the series, so we have
6 volumes.
6 volumes in the
different
series.
cards,
So
okay.
we're really expanding the conversation centered around Black and African contributions to humanity. I like to have that conversation because this is really the story of the world, right? Black history is world history, and too often it's the missing pages of world history. So
And I see on here 1968 Olympics.
yes.
Bessie Coleman, Black Wall Street. So just
Yes.
all different things to kind of bring it to light.
Bring it to light,
Yeah.
and expand the conversation in a easy to understand format. Because on the back of the cards are just simple bullet pointed information about the people, and the first time that you're exposed to it, it just opens your mind and makes you more curious and thirsty for
Right.
more.
Who are these for?
These are for just about everyone. We
Right.
have people who are using them with their young children, as young as 18 months, all the way to 95. I'll cap it there with my father's age because most of us aren't exposed to this information, so it's new to all of us.
And you also have playing cards. That's
Yes,
fun.
yes. So we infuse Black history and culture into everything that we do. So instead of playing with a regular deck of playing cards,
Sure.
We have powerful Black imagery weaved into the playing card deck.
Exposure, exposure, exposure.
Exposure,
What is this?
exposure,
This looks
exposure.
like fun.
Yes, yes.
I don't know how you do a mystery puzzle, though.
Yeah, you don't know what the finished product looks like, so that's the challenge. But I can tell you, there's Black history wrapped up inside.
Sure. Okay. Is it all the same, or is every box different?
The future editions will be different.
They'll be
This
different, but
particular one
this
is the same
one.
right now, but as we expand the line,
Yeah.
we're definitely going to do more.
Right. And what else? You guys aren't just in the playing card and flashcard business.
Oh, no, no. We actually have 19 physical products centered around Black history and culture, but we take it a step further, and we have classes that we teach live Black history to children inside of the Sankofa Club. You can see that at sankofaclub.com, and to adults as well inside of our Sankofa Circle. But we don't stop there.
Yeah.
We actually take people on Black history travel experiences to Africa and beyond.
That's so great.
Yeah.
What do people? How do people when they come back from something like that? How do they?
Oh, you're
Speechless,
totally,
probably.
speechless, totally transformed. Because it's one thing to learn about the history and the culture. It's
Yeah.
another thing to go see it and experience it for yourself. Be exposed to the food, the culture, the people. It's just a beautiful conversation. You come back changed.
Yeah, I bet. And you've been on several of these, I presume.
I have.
Yeah.
I have. I really enjoy it. I love watching the people have these experiences
Yeah.
and go through these breakthroughs and breaking down the misconceptions about the contributions of Black and African people to the world.
Where can we go for more information about urban intellectuals?
You can go to urbanintellectuals.com, and on all platforms, we are Urban Intellectuals.
Okay, perfect. And you got some of these?
All platforms, we are urban intellectuals, right? So that's a good overview of the company and all that we do. We're not just a travel company. We're not just a flashcard company. We are a Black history empowerment company, really working towards our community's goals. But this is my why. I want to tell you why, my why for traveling and the story of urban intellectuals, and it all goes together. But it all started, as I mentioned, almost 100 years ago, again, with the young man behind me here in this photograph. This is Ghana. If you have, for those of you who haven't been to the continent yet or haven't been to Ghana specifically, this is one of the dungeons there in the Cape Coast of Ghana. That's the door no return behind us. And this was a harrowing experience for the young man and I. In this photograph, he's 87 years young, having his first experience in Africa, not just Ghana, in Africa. And this is my first experience there as well. So we did it together. He is my international travel buddy. The early years, as they say, that's not me over there on the left. That's my baby boy, right? That's my son. That's my youngest son. He is 20, Lord, he's 22 years old now. How crazy is that? That's my mama there on the left with him. She passed in 2019. She got the chance to see us go to Africa. I'll get that story. And then this is my dad that I talked about a little bit earlier, but really where I'm gonna wrap this story around and this conversation around, because he is the one that really inspired me with his love of history and culture, and particularly Black history and culture, and imparting on me its importance, is how we ended up starting this company, how we ended up here, right? Traveling the African diaspora to not only learn about history and culture through our products and services, but to go see it and experience it, Sankofa in real life, as we'll talk about in just a moment. But here is just a little bit more for you. Oh, this is a little bit of Dad. I had an opportunity to do a documentary on his life for our family, right? This is really an internal thing. One day I'll share it. But he's still around, and he is, how old is he now? 95 years old. But he's 93 in this video.
Freddie Taylor. Or Mr. Taylor. No, I'm kidding myself. My name is Freddie Taylor. I'm original Michiganite. Born over in Hamtramck, 1929. So I've been around a while, you know. I've seen the changes made in what we call history time. My father was from, mother and father, they were from Georgia.
I'm not gonna run through the whole video. It's a long thing, right? It's like an hour and a half. I think it's an hour and a half conversation. I want to pause here, and I want to encourage you to do something like this for the elders in your family, not just for their benefit or not just for your benefit, but for the future benefits of the descendants in your family, right? There's nothing like capturing those voices. There's nothing like capturing those stories. And there's nothing like passing them on to the next generation. I love this video, and it hurts my heart every time I watch it because I didn't do this for my mom. I mentioned to you that she passed in 2019, and it wasn't even on my radar that this was a thing that captured the stories of the ancestors or captured the story of the elders in your family. And I want to encourage you to do this before it's too late, while they're still around, while you still have those voices, because I wish like hell I could go back to 2018, 2015, hell, early 2019 before she passed and get the opportunity to get her to put her story on wax, as they say. Again, not for the general public, not because I think they are dope individuals, but for myself, for my children, for our future grandchildren, for our cousins. This is the story of our families, and the elders in our families know things about our rise, I'll say, that we don't, and their experiences are liquid gold, right? So I just wanted to stop real quick and try to encourage somebody out there that might be listening to do something like this. It didn't cost a whole bunch of money. My family didn't pitch in. I thought it was important enough that I footed the bill to have a professional videographer to come out and get dad's stories. It's a beautiful thing, but I just want to tie that knot, because part of the stories and things that he talked about was having these travel adventures with me, right? I'm literally his his international travel buddy. My oldest sibling is 22 years older than me, and they all have done different things, but none of them had ever taken him to the continent, right? And I'm gonna go a little bit into some of that story again on my reasons why, right? But again, who's talking to you? My name is Freddie Taylor. I'm the CEO and founder of Urban Intellectuals. Black History Made Easy is our mantra, but we use this term Sankofa consistently. And if you remember the news story, I was talking about the Sankofa Club. I was talking about Sankofa Circle. You will hear about Sankofa Legacy. You will hear about Sankofa Universe, which is our media outlet, our social network media outlet, excuse me. But this word is important to the organization, and it really centers around what we do. And the principle of Sankofa. Sankofa is a word in the Twi language of Ghana that translates to go back and get it. Also refers to the Asante Adinkra symbol, typically represented by a bird with his head turned backwards while his feet face forward, holding a precious egg in its beak. And what it really stands for is to go back and get it. Go back and get your history, go back and get your culture, and bring that forward with you into your future. This is what the principle of Sankofa, which really, again, runs through the essence of Urban Intellectuals. And when it comes to our Sankofa experiences, right, this is where that term comes from. This is why we named our travel movement after that. it's Sankofa in real life because we're traveling to the continent, we're traveling to African diaspora to further understand our history, our culture, and reconnect with the current and modern Africa and the African diaspora so that we can start to move forward together in the future. And that's why we love that term here. You will hear that if you're new here, you're going to hear that repeatedly, and that's the reason why, right? Because, and I said all of this not to, and showed you all of this not to impress you, but to impress upon you that at our core, we are a Black History Empowerment Company. This is what we do. This is who we are about. We are almost 10 years in business. We are 9 years in business as of December 2024. December of 2025 will be our 10th year in business promoting Black history and culture. So we didn't just pop up on the scene and start doing this work. In fact, back to the story, right? In fact, back in 1919, boy, not the 1900s, but in 2016, my dad came to me after, we started the company and was doing this thing. And he said, hey, man, you know what? I want to go to Africa. And I had now, again, I showed you a little bit about him and how seasoned he is. But I had, I know he's pretty well traveled. So I just always assumed he had been to the continent. We had never really had that conversation. But he said, man, it's time for me to go. I want to go. So as they say, as a good son, I got my man to Africa, right? So this is us at the Detroit Metro Airport. If you're familiar with that area, this is the major airport there in Detroit. That's mom on the left there dropping us off because this is 2017. She hasn't passed yet, but she got an opportunity to see her boys go enjoy something that they've always thought about, a dream fulfilled, getting to the continent. You see, we rocking, the wife got us together with our Ghana t-shirts, Taylor Man Trip on his arm over there. This is us on the plane enjoying the ride. This is us touching down on the continent for the first time. And on the left, you see my man drinking it in, right? Touching that soil. And that's that feeling that most of our participants are looking for having. Like, what does it feel like when you finally get back to the motherland? If you notice my shirt, when I come back on camera, maybe you'll see it, but it says, Dear Mama Africa, right? We are home. That is the feeling that we got. It's a tremendous one. And I'll never forget it and never forget watching Dad. When we travel together, I'm always watching him to get his reactions. He's 87 years young in this photograph. So for my seniors out there, it ain't too late. Right. In fact, when he meet y'all, he meet them 70-somethings, he be like, oh, young woman, right? Like, I love to hear him say that. It cracks me up every time, but it's always a matter of who you're talking to. And these are some of the experiences that we had there in Ghana on that first trip. Kwame Nkrumah's mausoleum, Dr. W.B. Du Bois retired there in Ghana. And if you come with us on our Ghanaian adventures, you will have these experiences and many, many more as well. The door no return there in the middle, you saw that picture. We have rooftop dining. That was our hotel overlook on the left. There's an African American Association of Ghana over there. There's large expat communities over there. So Brother Alex, keep that in mind. Like, definitely tap into the network and connect. Hey, if y'all are in the D9, if you're in any one of those fraternities or sororities, guess what? They're there as well, right? So on this trip, I didn't put it in here, but on this trip, I'm the Q's, right? So on this trip, I reached out to the international bros. They connected me with the bros in Ghana. They pulled up at the hotel, took me out, and we built and fellowshiped, and I learned a bit about the lay of the land from somebody that was there. Great experience and a great time. But this is Dad. He's 94 in this particular video, but I'm going to allow him to tell you what was his greatest memory of going to Africa.
Okay, so my first question to you is, what's your most vivid memory of our travels to Africa, and what stands out most to you?
To Ghana.
Yeah, okay. Well, we've been to Ghana, and we've been to Egypt. Yeah, and we've been to Morocco.
You said first trip to Ghana.
To
Africa.
your most vivid memory.
Yeah, well, my most vivid memory was when I struck land there in Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
There was a feeling I had, you know, it's unexplainable. Never been to Ghana before, but in my mind, say, I'm home, home at last. You know, I mean, that's the feeling that you get. You know, it's an unforgettable feeling that place you ain't never been and you feel so comfortable. All of a sudden, there's a bit of freedom amongst you. You know,
Yeah.
that was not unforgettable. When you got to Africa and went to Ghana, and the first thing I felt was that freedom. You know, I ain't never experienced that before. And I think, too, you know, what's the Family Feud guy's name?
Which?
Family Feud. What's his name?
Oh, Steve Harvey.
He experienced the same thing. He said when he got to Ghana, he thought he said, just in Detroit, you know, the same feeling, the same walk, everything was so coherent, you know. It said like, hey, I'm in Africa, you know, hey, I'm down in town Detroit or something.
Yeah.
That's the feeling that you get though, honestly.
Because the people look familiar. Is that the thing?
Oh man, people look familiar. Well, you know what I'm going to say about the people look familiar. When we went to Egypt, man, I saw an Inkster boy on the walls, man. I don't know how many centuries he'd been there, but he was from Inkster.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the familiarity of what you saw, you know. Those were some unforgettable moments when Jay said, come here and look at this. You know, hey, I know him. Yeah, it was beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Y'all, I love this man. That is my favorite person on the planet, man. A lot of y'all are cool, but that's my dude.
Okay, so
yeah. But he and I started traveling, right? So that was 2017 when we first went to Ghana. This is 2018. We went to Spain and Morocco. So this next time we're like, man, we got the bugs, and we're like, we need to go. I'm like, come on, pops, let's go, right? So this is us. If y'all ever been to Spain, I suggest you go to southern Spain. This is Granada. This is the last Moorish stronghold in Spain. If you're familiar with the history, or if you rock with urban intellectuals, we'll help you, right? But if you're familiar, then you know that the Moors held Spain and Portugal, southern Europe, for almost 800 years, from 711 AD to 1492. But when they were defeated, and in 1492, it was here at the Alhambra. This is the last Moorish stronghold. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful palace, fort. Is high up on a hill. It's absolutely stunning. You can kind of see in the background here, overlooking the rest of the city of Granada. Look at the detail on the right. This place is absolutely gorgeous. This is still inside of the Alhambra, right? It's a hell of a trip, a hell of an experience. The things that you're seeing is built on science, right? Aligned with the star. It's like always the story of the African people, right? But here's the catch: if you don't know the history, if you don't know the culture, and you just go on the trip, they ain't gonna tell you that. You ain't gonna learn none of that information that I really talked about. In fact, they're gonna whitewash it to the point where they're not even gonna talk about Black people at all. So I always say it matters who you travel with, so that you can get the proper you can get the proper information, right? White supremacy is always covered up and bastardized history, and it doesn't change when you go overseas, right? It's a beautiful experience. Anyway, we saw a whole bunch on that leg of the trip. Then we jumped over to Morocco and had some of that experience. This is us getting the traditional Moroccan tea invitation there on the right. On the left, I was out for a jog. I found Dad out walking around and roaming the city. We were in Marrakesh. This is us, on the right, doing a double-decker bus tour throughout Marrakesh. And this is us at the bottom negotiating on the bottom right with these people having that experience. But on there, I was called a Berber, right? You're a real Berber, is what the brother the guy on the right said to me, right? But if you don't know your history and your culture, you don't know what he said, right? But the Moors were in this particular area, and they sometimes called them Berbers, right? Or they morphed into the Berber people. So I know what he was. I know what he was really saying because they are financially astute. And I'm a pretty tough negotiator when I'm traveling because what I know about travel is when I walk out your door, I'm gonna see the exact same thing a couple of steps down, right? So you can either take my offer or I'll just get it later. So anyway, that was that. But traveling changes you, and the more experience you have, the better you will be. Let's continue. In 2018, I swapped my parents with African ancestry. I don't know if y'all familiar with African ancestry, but this is not ancestry.com or 23andMe or any of those things. This is a black owned, black woman led uh, DNA company. It's called African Ancestry, and they actually destroy your DNA after the swab happens, which is why it's so expensive compared to 23andMe or these other places where you can get some for 20, 30, $50. But they are reselling your DNA. If you know anything about Henrietta Lacks, you're voluntarily signing up for that if you use those outlets. But African ancestry destroys your DNA, and they do something else that specifically tracks your mother, all the way back a couple of thousand years, and you find out exactly what tribe of people that you come from. Or you can do the paternal line as well. I've done both. In the vid in this here's it in this here image is my mom, first of all, on the right, as a beautiful young lady, but on the left is our findings. So I know through my maternal line that I am of the Mende people who are currently living in Sierra Leone. We are Mende through her. My mama on back goes back to the Mende people. And just for a note, going paternal line, I am Bamileke out of Cameroon, right? Through my dad's paternal line. My dad's mom's maternal line is Yoruba out of Nigeria, right? So I've spent a little bit of money with this organization learning about my background. But put a pin in this Freddie's Mende out of Sierra Leone because I want to continue. Later next year, 2019, we went into Normandy, we went into France, Paris and France. We went into France, we went to Normandy and Paris. But this is me, dad, and two more of my brothers, right? My third brother didn't make the trip, but I always love this picture on the left because I think it just really showed. And now this is my bougie brother, y'all, down there on both knees in the airport, tying up dad's shoe. And when I say bougie brother, man, is super bougie. But I love that dude. I'm always messing with him. But I just think it shows the deference to the elders and the love of this man, of how not only I love him, how we love him. We'll do anything for him. And I dare somebody to try to touch him, right? That'll be the end of them. But I just always love that picture because he loves his father, and we'll do whatever it takes to take care of him. But that's us outside the Eiffel Tower. You in Paris, you got to take the shots. I'm not a big fan of Paris. I didn't want to go to France at all, y'all. I want you to know. But dad wanted to go. So guess what? I sucked it up and I went. I'm glad I went because we had a beautiful experience amongst us. And while I was there, I learned some Black history. I'm always chasing Black history and culture when we're going. But this was the 75th anniversary of World War II. And Dad always talks about, man, I wasn't old enough to go to World War II. He almost said he was 4 years too young, or he would have probably been in that war, right? So we might not even be here if he would have actually been a little bit older. So that's us on the far right, walking to go get this white cows, this particular steak there in northern France. That is fantastic. We ate it like way too many nights, right? Anyway, later on, Dad tells me, hey, man, you know what? I want to go to Egypt. And, I want to go have that experience, right? So why not? He's like, I got an international traveler and my baby boy. I'm the youngest son. So instead of just going alone this time, we started our UI experiences. But this is when the Sankofa experience was born. So this time when we went to Egypt, we brought 40 people inside of the Urban Intellectuals community to go have this experience with us. You can see Dad, Dad and I overlooking the Nile River in the background at our hotel there at the Sheraton. A beautiful experience. We got our African shirts on. You can see that. Dad here in the center got his cardigan sweater on because Egypt isn't quite warm enough for him. I always make fun of him with that. But you can see all generations in this picture. You see children, you see you see grandchildren, you see the adults, and you see the elders in the pictures as well. Dad is 93 years young in this particular photograph. This is October of 2022. Y'all know I went from 2019 to 2022. We had the pandemic. We didn't go anywhere. 2021, we just took him to Vegas. We did a little Vegas poolside trip. 2022, we went to Egypt, right? And had that experience. It's a beautiful place. If that's on your list, you're definitely going to want to have this experience with us. It is something different, y'all. The pictures are amazing. The videos are amazing, but when you walk up on these pyramids and you really actualize how big that place is, it is unbelievable. And yes, we go into the pyramids there in Egypt. The 4 sitting figures on the top left is Abu Simbel. That was the highlight for me. I couldn't wait to get there. On the 2 on the lower left is there in Luxor, right? Luxor is actually an Arabian, let me get this right. A Greek word, right? That means palace. So the whole city was so magnificent, they thought the whole thing was a palace. This is why the Greeks called it Luxor, right? But you always see me taking pictures over Dad's shoulders because I'm always trying to figure out what is he looking at? What has caught his attention? So you can see that this is us at Karnak, excuse me, here in the middle. Just a beautiful experience overall, right? We had our Galabeya. We're inside of the temples. We're just having a beautiful experience, learning the history and the culture with the man that turned me on to all of this. So this is part of this ain't part of it. This is the reason I travel. I love it. And it's just a good reconnection point. But if visiting the motherland is on your bucket list, we've taken on 10 African countries on 37 separate trips, and we've taken 432 people on these life-changing experiences. Hopefully one day you will decide to travel with us and become one of them. But here's a couple of more words from Dad on why do we think it's important to travel the continent.
I would ask, why do you think it's important for other Black folks to have that experience of going down in the dungeon? Why do you think that that's important?
Well, yeah, because, your concept of Africa, you ask the average Black man on the street, I ain't going to Africa. Shit, I was born here, I ain't even African, thing like that. Because they refuse to look back into their history and know damn well that the majority, not all of us, but the majority of us came from Africa, and you inherited your family tree, and someone like I say came from Africa,
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you're from. But they don't want to accept the part because Africa looks so poor. They don't want to accept the fact they're a part of that poorness,
Mm-hmm.
big numbers, And but what pleases me so much is finally Africa woke up, man. It's become rebellious, and they were saying that there ain't no civil war unless some bloodshed is shedded, And the Africans over there have been shedding blood for a long time. And they've been fighting civil war. We may not know about what they've been doing, but they've been fighting this war for a long time.
Hundreds of years. They never gave up.
They never gave up. And the thing about that too is like we didn't want to equate what's happening in the United States, what's going on in Africa. We want to separate the Martin Luther Kings and the Malcolm X and all. We want to separate their deaths from being different from Africa, But the thing about it is, if you, like we was talking about Burkina Faso, and Sankara, leadership. Anytime Blacks got some leadership, they kill them off. It's just that simple. They don't know, because they know that one day they're going to rise, get tired of the bullshit, And this is just what happened now. They done got an African. I love every minute of it, man. I love my man, um, Abraham Traore, I think it's Traore, that's the name, from Burkina Faso.
Okay, the young brother.
The young brother, this is a new day, you know, and we ain't going back. And anybody don't want to. We like Harriet Tubman. If you don't go with us, we're gonna kill you. You know, just that simple.
Just that simple.
It's simple. It ain't gonna be no thing where you can do what you want to do with the Western powers and think you're gonna stay alive. No, no, you're gonna either come along with our freedom or we're gonna get rid of you. You know, your life ain't worth crap. You know, if you're gonna sell out 1 billion people,
yeah,
for a few dollars for a Paris place and something like that, and shake hands with the president of the United States, like they said, all 54 countries was invited to Washington D.C. 40 of them showed up for one man, and they didn't give them the welcome that they get the red carpet. They brought them and said, "Boy, y'all got to be good over there." And that's when the people said, "No more. We ain't taking no more shit." You know.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna summon us up like we a gang. No, we leaders of countries. We running these countries.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you gonna have us come up there and you gonna preach to us about civil rights and you ain't had a damn bit of civil rights in there? You know, preach to us about morality and all that shit. No, it's over.
Yeah, I like the Harriet Tubman reference because we got a shirt that says, "I ain't arguing with nobody Harriet Tubman would have shot."
Yeah.
We not going back and forth with y'all.
That's right.
Yeah, you are not us. You are not part of this.
That's what Abraham was telling the people there in Burkina Faso. No, if you ain't going along with us, your life ain't worth crap. You know.
Yeah.
We're gonna get rid of you because
we don't
need that extra baggage of folks spying on you and lying on you and telling on you and keeping us down when they know all and well that Africa now is it's not a new continent. And they rising, and I love every minute of it.
Yeah, it's time.
It's time. Yeah, shit.
I love it.
I love it. So sometimes when y'all hear me talking, and you be like, "Ooh, Freddie, a bit of a revolutionary." Just remember, that's my 90. He was 93 there. That's my 93-year-old daddy, right? So of course, following the trips and having that experience that year in October of 2023, I had to get my wife there, right? So this is me and the wife in 2023. So what you saw Dad and I in Egypt was 2022, October 2022. So that February, it took the wife on the trip, Sankofa experience. We went to, we spent Black History Month in the motherland. So we went to Egypt. You see us there on the left in front of the pyramids. We had that whole experience. And then after that trip ended, we rested a day, flew across the continent, and ended up in Ghana. So believe it or not, that upper right-hand corner picture is Ghana, right? That is us at a rooftop bar, at a rooftop restaurant, having the Ghanaian experience. And I can tell you after day 2 in Ghana, she was like, "We moving here." Beautiful experience. And then, you know, down there in the center is at the dungeon. You got to go have that experience. It's something that it changes your life when you go there. So I had to take her as well. So she had the total experience there. But we didn't stop. In April of 2023, we went on to Sierra Leone. I mentioned being a citizen of, I mentioned being a descendant of the Mende people in Sierra Leone. Turns out my wife is similar. Of course, we had to swab her as well. Her maternal line went back to the Mende and Timne tribe there in Sierra Leone. So we both went and had an amazing dual citizenship experience thanks to African ancestry. And we were there doing that. So this is us there overlooking Freetown on the left, having this experience with our cousins now, who are all citizens of Sierra Leone. We met the mayor of Freetown up there in the upper right-hand corner. This is me getting one of the certificates down at the right. This is them there on the far right. One of the most beautiful beaches you will ever experience in your life, River Beach #2 there in Sierra Leone. They just want to talk about the poverty, but it is a beautiful place. This beach is bananas, y'all. Like, that spot was amazing. And I should show video, like being out in the water and giving you a panoramic view. Absolutely stunning. You would have never guessed, you were in Africa, and Africa got some of the best beaches in the world, but we always want to run to Miami. You want to run to Dubai. You want to go to all these places where people exploit the hell out of you. And you got all the natural beauty there in the motherland. The pictures on the left is part of our naming ceremony. We off in the village seeing the children and the kids and just having that experience of what it looks like to get outside of electricity, y'all. When you leave Freetown in Sierra Leone, there's no electricity. It is a wild experience, but it's one that you need to have. We were in a Mende village reconnecting there. The center there is the door no return. That's what you see behind me. That is Bunce Island. That is the home of the slave trade in Sierra Leone. So we knew that there's a great, 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 great grandmother in our lineage that survived this island. She was there. This is where they picked her up and took her into Charleston, South Carolina. You're going to have to get with me on one of my full lectures on this. But there's a direct route from Bunce Island to Charleston, South Carolina, which is, you know what I'm saying, the home of the Geechee, if you know about them, right? But that is where they took us from that port. And you might say, I don't really want to I don't want to be in those places, Freddie. I don't want to do that. But all I can tell you it is gut-wrenching, it's heartbreaking. You're going to cry, you're going to sob, you're going to snot. You might even have some nightmares. But when you get up, when you get your stuff together, you're going to walk out of there with a different viewpoint of your ancestors. You're going to understand what they tolerated, what they've survived for you to be here. Because if one of those ancestors in that lineage don't survive, you are not here. So you start to understand the strength and the resilience that is inside of your DNA. And no, we were not born slaves. And no, I'm not going to act like we don't got a history beyond that. But I want you to understand the strength and the intestinal fortitude that it took for somebody to survive that passage, whether you went out of Ghana, whether you went out of Sierra Leone, whether you went out of Senegal or the Gambia or Nigeria or South Africa or Angola or right. There are dungeons up and down the west coast of Africa, and they all are treacherous and terrifying. But you start to have an appreciation for your people coming out of that, and it's just something to experience. So because of that experience, I'm a dual citizen. We are dual citizens out of Sierra Leone and the United States, right? So I would say just call us two passports. But to Alex, I was saying the reason we got that is because we're getting that experience in Africa, but now we got two passports. So I travel differently through at least West Africa because I have that additional passport. I can stay places longer. I don't got to check in. It's just a whole different vibe. But I'm starting to set my footing on the continent, and that's our goal. 2023, 2024, I went to Senegal and the Gambia for the first time with our inaugural trip there, right? So this is us there again at another door no return there in Dakar. Oh man. Oh, the island is blowing my mind. I gotta Google it, y'all. And must be late or something. Oh, how do I not know? Yeah, the House of Slaves. What do they call the island though? Gory Island. Lord, come on, Freddie, get it together. Gory Island is a heck of an experience. This is there at the House of Slaves, as they call it, but this is that door of no return. The thing about Gory Island is it's beautiful. You get off that boat, you got to take this boat over there. They got like the transporter boat. I forget what they call it. But you take that boat, you get off, and you like walking down this pier, this runway, and there's all these brightly colored buildings, and the cobblestone roads, and they got the flowers are out. It's just absolutely stunning. And it's easy to forget the atrocities that have happened there. you get kind of caught up in it. And apparently it was beautified the entire time. That's what the Portuguese were on when they dominated that particular area. And it's all until you walk into the House of Slaves, right? That you remember exactly where you are. And man, it's just something different, right? But this was a beautiful experience. Again, like you got to go immerse yourself in that experience. But the food, I think Senegalese food is the best food in Africa. I'm putting that in the ground right now. Like that's my argument. I haven't been everywhere on the continent. I haven't had all the food, but they hands down to me winning the Jollof Wars. They just winning all the wars, to be honest with you. It's a beautiful experience. On the left is one of the restaurants that we went into. On the right, I'm in the Gambia walking with lions, right? Having that experience. Just a crazy experience. I'll never do that again, y'all. But it was a beautiful experience. My team, the Urban Intellectuals team, challenged me to do that. Later in 2024, Dad didn't make the Ethiopia trip. So, of course, I go to and from. Every time I fly to any of these places, I go to Detroit to hang out with him. But in 2024, he's 94 years young. In this photograph in August of 2024, we went to Cuba, Havana, Cuba. And you might be saying, why would you go there? There's a long, rich Black and African history there in Cuba. And I can tell you that the ties are still strong there. We hung out with a Yoruba community down there. If you know anything about the Yoruba, I mentioned it. We're out of Nigeria, right? My dad's maternal line is from Nigeria, and they are Yoruba. So I got a chance to reconnect with them directly. Later this year, we're going to Nigeria. So I'm going to get that authentic experience to check and see how connected it is. But we are a global people having this global experience. Oh, but there in Cuba, I forgot about this video. Let's get a little bit of Dad having his Cuban experience. Gotta do some dancing for me in Cuba. That's about right. A wild experience, y'all. And like what Dad was whispering to her was, his knees hurt, so he can't quite dance like he wants to or he used to. But I can tell you this: if it was 10 years earlier, and he'll tell you 20 years earlier for sure, he would have been out on that floor, spinning that young lady and dancing, because Dad is a dancer for sure. Definitely loves to get down, man. So I just love to see that smile and how happy we have these traveling adventures. Earlier this year, right, we were in Ethiopia having our first Ethiopian experience. This was March of 2025. They're having that joyous trip, right? And I gotta say, Ethiopia Ethiopia is trying to rival Senegal as my favorite food spot. This place was spectacular. Definitely enjoyed that. You see the rock churches on the left and right. So we definitely had that experience going into those churches built so long ago and seeing the walls. I won't give away what's on the walls inside of those churches. There are 13 churches built out of the rock, right? Carved from the top down, right? So they dug out all of that and started the crafting the church on the way down. It's a wild experience to be there. But Africa has such a diverse history and culture. It's just something that you got to see. But why do I travel with him? Why do I travel with my dad? This is pretty much the reason.
How about you tell us what you just did there?
I just rolled a Cuban cigar.
Yeah.
And what fries the best?
From scratch, with different kinds of leaves, know how to make the head of it, and hey, round it off, all that stuff. I got that knowledge. This is gonna be able to disperse it.
You can see his looks much better than mine.
Yeah, look at that. That's a cigar.
That's a cigar.
That's a pretender. Yeah, that's a pretender. Yeah. I got the real thing.
That's so big. Yeah, it's a beautiful experience, Alex, man. I'll tell you what, man. But that smile is definitely all it for me. And not only does he get that smile, I get to see those smiles in all of our travelers. But it's just a beautiful experience. Here he is summing up his African adventures.
I'm just proud to be an African. Not, I'm proud of the African descent. You know, being an American. I remember the times though. I would have said, "Hell, I ain't no African. Shit, I ain't never been. I don't know about them people over there."
Mm.
And in high school and thing when you have American history, you know, African history, they talk about the African. Blacks refuse to acknowledge that they're part of that African continent. You know, I ain't no African. I'm American. All that crap. But now the time has come. I'm proud to be an African, African descent. You know.
Yeah.
Just like the Irish got their Irish descent, the Italians got their thing, the Germans got their. Everybody got something, and we was denying ours. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But no more. And the thing, what kills me though, the richest continent in the world is the poorest. Now, just think about that. How in the hell can you have all the resources and you got to beg for a loan from the IMF to do something, and you attach a loan to a long interest rate, you know, get you in debt for 50 years, man, on some bullshit they let you have.
And all the money
and the stuff they let you have was yours to start with.
All the money they loaned you is coming based on your resources.
Yeah, well, based on your resources.
Yeah, the gig is up.
Yeah, the gig is up.
The gig is up. Folks are sick and tired of being sick and tired.
But what I'm so happy about though is I knew it was coming, but I didn't think it was going to be in my time. I just didn't. Because I always talk about the incremental change. I say another 25, 50 years, you know, something like that. It's going to come. But brother, we in the race now.
No, we here.
Ain't no 50 years. What the Chinese did from the time that they got their independence
to
now, they did that in 50, 60 years, man. They number one. Number two will be number one because they go.
Yeah, they're not playing.
They ain't playing, man. Shit. And they was talking about Africa, Chinese are building this and doing that. It's going to make some money. Everybody making some money. But do you benefit from it?
Mm-hmm.
They putting the infrastructure over in Africa now. They got, like the United States coming there talking about don't deal with the Chinese. And she's in on a highway built by the Chinese going to a community. Came from an airport that was built by the Chinese, going to a community area to talk about the Chinese. And all this was built by the Chinese. Now that's about hypocrisy.
And they ain't built nothing.
Ain't built nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chinese, they gonna get you in debt and they gonna take this and take that. Well, hell, we ain't had nothing to start with. Y'all took everything from us with the colonization. Back in 1884 when they divided all of Africa up. Everybody got a piece of it.
Besides Africa.
But Africa. Besides Africa. Shit. No.
I gotta ask you one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I love this guy. It cracks me up. Ashley put in his fired up comments in here. I love it. So here's the question, right? Are you ready, right? Are you ready to have this experience, right? Do you have these three things? Do you got your passport? Have you picked the destination? And if to travel with us, it only takes $199 down for a deposit. So let me get to it and get to the point, right? So you can see your options. If you think you know where you want to go, if you know you got your passport, you're willing to get it, you got $199. I got a surprise for you. I got a big one, right? So y'all somehow got here despite our email snafu. So we appreciate you being here. Again, it's just $199 deposit. I'm going to show you the list of places that you can go. But first, let me give you my surprise. If you sign up with us by midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight, we're going to take $400 off the trip per trip, right? Per person. So say you sign up with you and your spouse, we'll take $400 off for each of you going to have this African adventure, going to have this opportunity of a lifetime. And here are the locations that you are able to select from. Ashley, I don't know if you want to drop the link down in the comments, but this is where we are going, right? Obviously, 2025 is at the bottom, 2026 is at the top. But starting from the top, let me just do it that way. We're talking about Egypt, Senegal, South Africa. Got a couple of Ghana trips. 2025 is not too late. If you want to join us to Tanzania, Brazil, September, I'll be on that particular trip. Nigeria and the Ivory Coast in the September, early October. Ethiopia, Egypt, South Africa, Ghana, everything is on the list. So I just wanted to kind of give you an overview about who we are, what we are about, and this is where we are going. Yes, Alex, if you're on the mailing list, you sign up, you're here. You're gonna get the replay, and then you'll get all of this information and the links as well. But you can always go to sankofaexperiences.com to pull it up and check it out. You just hit calendar, you can get this exact list right here so that you can see where you might want to go. But if you click the link, particularly that second link that Ashley linked, sankofaexperiences.com/travel/calendar, it'll give you this option, and then you can select your month, your time frame, and then go directly to that individual trip. But if anybody's ready to move with us tonight, $400 off is our particular offer for tonight per person, right? Again, it's just $199 down. Hey, and if you're looking to travel with us in 2026, you got anywhere from 12 to 18 months to take care of the payments. So, oh yes, so there's no prepayment penalty. There is a payment plan. We do have buy now, pay later options, and all of those things are available. So if you just started to $199 down and you were just paying and you were like, you know what, I wanted to take care of this, you can go ahead and wipe that out, whether you got your taxes, you got a refund, whatever the case may be. Or again, if you're just signing up and you want to use one of the buy now, pay later options, you can do that as well. That's the wife there, the Galabea on the left. This is us moving through the dungeons there in Ghana, having that experience. But again, we're going to Egypt, Senegal, South Africa, Tanzania, Brazil, Nigeria, the Ivory Coast, Ethiopia. I mentioned South Africa, and we still haven't put up our Senegal. Oh, no, there's the Senegal day. There we go. All right, so Senegal is up there as well. So those are the places that we're going over the next year and a half. 2027 to be a little bit different. We'll continue to expand and have more of these discussions. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and raise your Zoom hand and let me know. I'll be sure to answer any questions that you might have. Just let me know. You can raise your Zoom hand and ask that question, or you can drop it down in the comments. But raising your Zoom hand would definitely be much more efficient. Let's put it that way. All right. Any thoughts? Any comments? Y'all good? I don't know. You're silent on me today. Hopefully y'all enjoyed my conversation centered around my traveling with my father, right? Really my why on why all of this kind of came about. And, I could have just kept traveling with dad and enjoying him and our experiences. But I thought it would be much better to open it up to our community. So I'm really glad that we did. Do you have single travelers? Oh, absolutely, Pamela. Yeah. So there are single options as well, solo options, right? So you can even sign up as a solo traveler and then add someone to your room later, right? So if you wanted to take advantage of the $400 off, Pamela, you say like, hey, you know what? I'm ready to go to Egypt. let me go ahead and lock that down for later this year or next year or whenever the case may be. You go ahead and lock it down. You pay your $199, and then say your spouse, your girlfriend, your cousin, your best friend decide later they want to join. You can add you to the room, and then you'll move into the double occupancy rate. I can tell you, we get a lot of solo travelers because y'all know how it is when it's time to travel, particularly international. Everybody say they want to go, then don't nobody want to put up their funds and actually go. So we end up with people who are like, I'm tired of waiting on folks. I've been wanting to have this experience to experience the continent, since I was a little girl or since I was a teenager, since I was in my 30s. Now I'm in my 70s and I'm like, man, I ain't waiting on nobody no more. So even our seniors end up alone on the trip going over, but they end up making friends and connections with the other travelers that are there. And you know what's funny? What's funny about the seniors, first of all, the seniors are the best. Listen, I'm not a senior yet, but y'all making me realize life ain't over. Life really just beginning as a senior because you've been taking care of people your entire life, and now they're starting to make the decision to do things for themselves. But what they're running into, particularly if they're going alone, their children is trying to stop them. I don't know if y'all experienced this, but I talked to a lot of seniors on the trips, and they're like, my daughter tried to tell me I can't go. I can't go to Egypt because I'm going by myself. And she was like, I invited her. She ain't want to go or whatever. But the children are concerned, right? I think rightfully you're concerned about your elder parents. So they always tell me that a lot of their children don't want them to go. But of course, they like who they talking to, right? So the seniors end up coming, having a beautiful trip. I remember a pair of sisters on one of the Egypt trips, right? They were in their 70s, 72 and 74. That's where I heard Dad say, "Oh, young woman, oh, young women," right? And going into that experience, but that wasn't my single individual, right? So like I was just in Ethiopia, right, with the group in March, and one of the sisters was telling me about her son calls her every day, got her location, tracking her, texting her all every couple of minutes, and she like, boy, let me enjoy myself on this trip. But the seniors end up saying, hey, if you're so concerned, you should come with me, right? Don't tell me that I can't go. You should go. But they're coming and having that experience and then meeting up with friends and peers on the trip that are interested in the things that they're interested in. That's one of the beautiful things about our trips is it's not a party trip, right? We're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy ourselves and all of that. But this isn't about Mai Tais and the beach. This is about the history and the culture and the food and the experience and meeting the people and having the important conversations. You're going to end up with like-minded people. That's one of the beautiful things about traveling with urban intellectuals on our Sankofa experiences is because people are going for the exact same reasons that you are. We are interested in a reconnection of the motherland. We're interested in putting our feet and our spirit on that soil and having that experience. And our organization has done a wonderful job of curating the local experts and people that you need to talk to answer all of the individual questions that general history just won't answer, right? And even the tough questions. Woo! I can tell you, we were in Ethiopia and brother Grima and the rest of the staff was like, "Woo, y'all got some questions, right?" Like, but people want to know, particularly the Christians, right? When we go into Ethiopia, because that's really the home of Christianity is there in Ethiopia, right? It's the oldest Bible in the world is there in Ethiopia. We get an opportunity to talk about it. We get an opportunity to go into the churches there, Lalabella, which is an incredible experience by itself. Going through the Ethiopian history, going through their museums, It's just a beautiful experience, but it comes with questions because Ethiopia is one of the only places that on the continent that wasn't colonized, right? But they weren't colonized, but they were invaded. So what's really going? So there's a lot of questions that come along with it. Um, just a beautiful experience though, and just one that you really need to be there to see kind of for yourself. And if you got any of those questions, you got any of the questions about any of the places that we travel, I advise you to do your research, do your homework, and bring those questions because they are ready, right? You're not going to introduce a question that these experts and the local guides haven't heard. But you need to get that answer for yourself, and you need to have that experience for yourself. And if y'all are shoppers, I can assure you, there is a great deal of shopping to be had on all of these experiences. I got some fly gear from all over the continent. So I love when I get an opportunity to step out and I get to adorn my garb that I've acquired around the continent. It's just a beautiful thing and an experience. I can tell you, I'm not a foodie until I get to Africa. But then all of a sudden I turn into a foodie because the food is different. Um, the flavors are different. I just think the taste is everything is different. I don't think they're using all the chemicals and things that we are experiencing here, and particularly if we're in the west coast of Africa, man, if you're eating the seafood, they pulling that fish right out the water. It is something different. But it's just a great experience, right? And the seasoning, man, like I said, I just turned into a foodie on these particular trips. Whereas here in America, I can eat the same things every day. Like I eat oatmeal every morning. It doesn't bother me. Long as I got some chicken, some couscous, and some vegetables, I'm pretty good for dinner. Nothing really phases me. I'm not a condiment guy. I'm not into sugars. I don't really eat dessert and all of that stuff. But I get to Africa, man, I'm eating everything. Like I always talk about the mangoes in West Africa because goodness gracious, it's just something different. But anyway, I don't want to put all my foodie tendencies on y'all. But all of these experiences are available for y'all on these trips. So I want to encourage you, right, you've been taking care of everybody else all your life. At some point, you're going to have to start relaxing and having some of these experiences for yourself. Dad waited till he was 87 to get to the continent, and maybe that's your story. I advise you to start a little bit sooner because tomorrow's not promised, right? And plus, I don't think they make people like they used to. Right? Born in 1929. That's my man. He has just been through it all. But he can't wait to get back. He wants to go to South Africa next. So that wants to be his next spot. So I'm ready. When he's ready, I'm ready. I'm definitely going with him on that adventure when he's ready. So I think we're going to go this year in November. Actually, I don't think I told you that, but he's interested in going. I think I'm going to go regardless. But yeah, we're going to have those experiences. So if you got any questions for me, let me know. If not, I appreciate y'all being here. Again, if you sign up with any of our trips by midnight Eastern Standard Time, you can catch them here, Pamela. That link there specifically, let me show you exactly what it shows you. So I'll just click the link that I just dropped down there. Great question. It's going to pull up this page. You can see that, right? Yeah. So this is going to be our travel calendar. So you can go to 2026 or 2025, and it'll give you a list of all of the locations and the dates, more importantly, right? The dates that we'll be traveling in. So if you just click that link there, it'll take you there and you can hold it. Again, $199 down is just the deposit. And you will have your choice, right? Ghana, South Africa, Egypt, Ethiopia, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Brazil, Tanzania, Zanzibar, and Joburg and Senegal are the options. We're going to Ghana for New Year's, right? So if you peep the Ghanaian dates, or at least the December Ghanaian dates, we're going in for they call they call it Deti December. I haven't done a Deti December in Ghana just yet, but I'm interested in that. So I'm going to go and have that experience one of these times. I want to check it all out, right? So you can get that link there, Pamela, there in the comments, and that's what you're going to see, and you have an opportunity to click it. Then you can go through all of the details. If you pull up our YouTube page, that will be a easy way, because you might be like, oh, I'm interested, but I want to see a bit more of the trip. If you pull up our YouTube page, I'm pulling it up now myself. Playlists, I'm gonna give you the exact link that you can go to. Bam. Yeah. All right, 1 second. Looks like we got 2 playlists. Yeah, that's what I want. All right, so if you pull up on YouTube, you can actually get a detailed outline of our trips, right? And our conversations there. So if you're like, oh, I want to see Ghana, or I want to see this, like, you can pull that up there, and then you can go through one of those presentations. We have everything listed. The second link here on YouTube is our travel talks information. But when you click that calendar and you go into the details, you'll see all the daily activities, what we're going to do. But I was just figuring, I added the YouTube stuff just because I was like, maybe you want to see the videos. Maybe you want to kind of see more of what we are doing on the trips. So I wanted to make sure that I made that available. Hopefully that makes sense to you. It's not too overwhelming, but those are the playlists for our travel discussions as well. So hopefully that makes sense to you, Pamela, and anybody else that's interested. But that first link with calendar is really what you want to go and pull up all of the details there. But again, if you sign up by midnight, if you put down your $199 by midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight, we're going to give you $400 off that trip. And how it will work is you go ahead and drop your $499, and then whatever the balance is, we'll reduce that by $400, and then we'll be off and running. So we don't often offer that. So take advantage, right? So we were changing up our format and did a different kind of conversation here today. We typically just talk about one particular destination, but we decided to open it up and give you a crazy incentive for signing up with us tonight. So if you don't have any more questions, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, but you can always shoot an email to support@sankofaexperiences.com. That's support@sankofaexperiences.com. If you can't remember that, you can always shoot us an email at support@urbanintellectuals.com, either or. We end up with Sister Ashley, who is our travel coordinator, and she'll be glad to follow up with you about any of the issues that we have, any of the issues that you have, right? All right. I think I am clear. I think I'm good for the night. I'm going to go lay down. It's been a long day, but I appreciate y'all being here with us today. I appreciate you considering traveling with us. And like I said, dear Mama Africa, to consider having this experience with us. We don't take it lightly. I know it is a big decision to make. It is not a cheap trip, right? We're not a cheap travel organization. We are an experienced travel organization, and one that delivers on a multitude of levels to our audience. So we hope you decide to make that journey and transition with us to grace the motherland with your presence and have that experience. And please stuff your belly the best as you can with all of that delicious food, but drink in the culture, drink in the community, the people, and the opportunity to reconnect with the ancestors, reconnect with our global diaspora and our community. I think this administration, more than others, which is wild to even say, is making us remember how important community is and how important it is going to be for us to link up globally as a people. I don't look at this as just a trip. it's definitely an experience. It's definitely opening the doors of possibility for the future. So it's just a lot that I want you to think about. Again, $199 down is all it takes. You can go ahead and lock it in, visit our travel calendar, decide where you want to go, put your $199 down. We'll give you $400 off if you sign up by midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight. If you have any questions, support at sankofaexperiences.com. Thank you, Sister Ashley, for all that you do and my last minute changes that I'm always asking for on these presentations. And thank y'all for being here. I appreciate y'all. Tonight, you will catch the replay in the morning. You'll definitely get that as well. So until next time, till we catch you on the continent, love, peace, and power to the people. Good night, everybody. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, Joanne.